Here is my update. I got this thing, so I flipped this thing over, got the top side all welded, then I flipped it back over, so now it's back on its back, which is the way that I originally built it. I got it all painted. It was extremely windy outside, so I threw a piece of plastic down and I just painted it in here. And it's been a few days now. It's been curing. The paint turned out mostly okay, but again, this is the bottom, so I don't really care that much. And honestly, it's a tiny toy hauler, so once I get the whole thing built, I think the actual paint job on the frame is going to be not very critical. You know, again, it's just to keep it from rusting. But I want to go ahead and highlight some things that that I kind of did. So this is the receiver hitch that I put on the back, and I'm just kind of putting this in here to eyeball because I'm going to use this step up, this 1 1/4 to 2 inch, because my dirt bike carrier that I built for my other camper uses these two outer ones. This middle one is just a normal hitch. But the problem is I ordered these stabilizers, these RV stabilizers, and they're rated for like 5,000 pounds each. They're quite a bit bigger than I was envisioning, so I have to kind of try to work out how I'm gonna do, what I'm gonna do with these. So I've got two of them. I was thinking I would have just one on the back, and then I would have the tongue jack, and then that probably will be sufficient for, I mean, it's just a one-person teardrop or tiny toy hauler. It's only going to sleep one, so I think as long as I can, you know, kind of keep it from rocking, I mean, it's just myself. There's not really going to be, me walking around isn't going to bother me and wake me up. Like normally you would want these stabilizers on big campers because you don't want them, when someone gets up in the middle of the night or whatever, to wake up the other person with it rocking. So the problem is I didn't really... I pictured that this would mount here, okay? That's what I was picturing. And then I could put my tool here, crank it up. This thing is way bigger than I was picturing. So I don't know if I should have gotten a smaller one. So I'm really kind of playing with the idea of what I'm going to do here to mount these on. I could put it here. I'd have to, you know, I can put some more steel on and reinforce it, but that was kind of one of the mistakes I wanted to highlight. Is I've already painted this thing, and I already know I'm going to have to do some more welding, so I'm going to put some steel and support to bolt this to, so I'm going to have to grind some of that paint off, which isn't a big deal. It's just rattle cans, so... but I need to experiment with, this is, you know, it's overhanging a little, which is not going to, I don't think it's going to be a problem, because my tires are going to be overhanging a lot more than that. So, I mean, I guess I can picture walking around and not watching your leg and, you know, it catches your leg or something on that. So I need to decide what to do. I know if I were to put these up here on the front, it would be a piece of cake because I would put them right there. It wouldn't matter as much that they were hanging out the front. I got all that room there, and then I could even weld a piece of like angle or something right here, use this piece and then the angle to bolt it to. So in the front, it would be perfect. The problem is I don't think I'm going to have a problem with the front. I'm going to have a problem with the back. The other thing I got to deal with is I'm planning on putting the door on this side. When it's, you know, flipped over, obviously. So I'm thinking about putting one of those foldable steps here. I've seen some online, but if I put that here, then I don't want because I have two of these, I don't want the other one to interfere with this. And the problem is, though, I don't want to order my step yet until I actually get this thing turned over and the correct tires on it and actually kind of visualize how tall it is. I mean, I can do all this on paper and estimate what it's going to look like, but it's better just to see it and to try it. So anyway, this area will be occupied with that. The other problem is if I had this, let's say I mount it this direction, right? That kind of makes sense. But I don't know about accessing if I am hauling a dirt bike on the back of this, am I still going to be able to access that little spot? Because I would want to drop a stabilizer before unloading the dirt bike. I don't know. I guess maybe I could just leave it hooked up to the vehicle, the tow vehicle. You know, the idea being if, you know, with all the weight and stuff shifting, you kind of want or I guess before I load the dirt bike is what I should say. I would have a stabilizer down, then load the dirt bike, and that would just kind of keep it, while it's bouncing and stuff, to keep this thing from shifting too much. I don't know. That's where I'm at right now. I think this is what I'm going to end up doing. Like I said, this side's the side that's going to have the step, possibly. So doing it like this still gives me an area here that I could put straps in and bolt that step to. Hopefully, I'll have to measure and see if that's enough clearance. But I don't like that it's going to this 1-inch square tubing. But this 1-inch square tubing is it's 11 gauge, so it's pretty strong. I'm probably going to, I wish I had more of it, because I actually had to buy that stuff, and I have a little bit of it, but not enough. If I had enough, I would run one more from here just to that 3-inch square cross member. And then this would be pushing on that. So if it had give, it wouldn't be affecting anything. And then this is a piece of 3/16 2-inch angle. I could just run a piece of flat bar or something straight down, just to kind of help give that a little bit more rigidity from being pushed down. So I'll think of something. I've just set that piece of square tubing there because I was seeing if it would work, just kind of eyeballing it. I may end up just using a simple piece of angle, but I would still, if I only go to this cross member, I would definitely need to do something to latch it, to tie it down to that cross member. And then on this side, I was going to turn it so that one over there would be accessible from the rear. This one would be accessible from the side. This is not the side that the door will be on, again, flipped over. This would be, once it's flipped on the correct side, this would be on the driver's side. So I would still be able to access this with nothing getting in my way here. And then even if I had my dirt bike on, or before I was going to go load it on and I didn't want that to interfere with it, I could drop that stabilizer, put this one down, and then that should be enough to keep it from wobbling too much. Well, after brainstorming a while, here's what I ended up with. Let's see, I did have another piece of this 1-inch square tubing that was just like an inch too long. So I just set it in here, marked it, and cut it with my angle grinder, and then attached it down to this cross member with a piece of 1-inch angle. Also, I just, took a piece, used a clamp to hold it in place, and then took my angle grinder and cut it. So none of the stuff was measured. It was kind of just done on the spot. And then also underneath this, I have another piece of 1-inch angle, just because after I did that, it kind of had a little bit of wobble, and that took it out. So now it's about as solid as it gets, as it's probably going to get. I mean, these things aren't super rugged. And so again, this one is accessible from the rear. My door, I went ahead and got online and ordered the little stair that's going to fold out from here. But it's going to take, it looks like, about a week before it gets in. But I think I can still proceed with flipping this thing over, and never having to flip it back on its back again. I'll just probably, whenever I actually decide where to lay it out, I'll probably just take a piece of some 2-inch angle or something like that, and go from here to here, and then use self-tappers to actually bolt the step in place. And then on this side, I did something a little different. Again, I need to be able to access it from the side, because I want to be able to lower this when loading and unloading the dirt bike, just to give me some stability. So what I did here was I actually took off the little leg that it came with. It just has these bolts that go through it, and measured and marked where those holes went, drilled 2 holes, and then cut that piece of angle to run between these two support pieces. I was a little concerned about using these, but I think it seems solid. If it becomes a problem and I feel like it's a little weaker, I can just kind of do what I did here, get a tiny little piece of 1-inch angle or flat bar or something, and just connect, because right now these two pieces aren't connected, this cross member with this 1-inch square. So I could just tag those together here and here. And then if that's still not enough, I could probably run another piece of 1-inch square between here and here, so just to kind of support it a little closer. I did have to notch this out. This is where this sits. I don't think I had to. I could kind of push it and work it around, but it's just a little bit neater. So now I need to take these jacks off and paint. I did weld, and you can see I have plenty of spots here in my plastic that melted from the sparks from the welding. So I'll have to either throw newspaper down, or probably what I'll do is I'll just rotate this whole thing, because that other side I didn't weld, and then spray paint it on that side to touch up all these. I still have a little bit more welds to make. I've got it welded in place, but anyway, so the next step after this is, let's see, I think I'm done with the underside at this point. Like I said, the step I'll be able to do once it's on its regular, on its upward side. So the next step is flipping this thing over, painting the top, and then let me see, installing the axle. The wheels are back ordered. They're supposed to ship out tomorrow, according to the estimate. We will see if that actually happens. I've got the tires. I need to install the wheels on the tires, but they're 5-on-5 bolt pattern. I have another trailer that's got 5-on-5 that I'll just borrow the tires from in the meantime if I need to. They are different sizes. This is the size of the tires on the other trailer, and the ones I got are I think like 2 inches maybe bigger overall. You know, I wanted the biggest tires that I could comfortably find to put on this thing, that were cheap. I'm also cheap. Then install those deck boards that I have. I'll probably, since I got so much going on back here, I'm going to insulate it. I was planning on just crawling underneath it and throwing the insulation down, but now I'm thinking I'll probably just drop the insulation in place before I put the deck boards, and then come down to the bottom side and actually affix them to the deck boards. But all that and more coming soon. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you want to see more videos like it.